Number 10. It powers sites to alter or erase their substance. Google AdSense is the biggest promotion organized on the web. It is likewise one of the most blue-penciled. Google powers accomplice sites to blue-pencil their substance to its taste. By blue-pencil, we mean it compels them to either alter or erase anything it doesn't care for. Site proprietors have just a single decision, and that is to go along, on the off chance that they despite everything need to stay on the AdSense organize. Google says it just advises site proprietors to evacuate content that are not family accommodating. In any case, site proprietors have called attention to that the significance of family accommodating is at the attentiveness of Google. Site proprietors just get messages requesting that they expel advertisements from certain substance for abusing Google's terms and conditions. This is the best a site proprietor will get from Google. Solicitations for more data will consistently hit a block divider. Number 9. It nearly made an edited web index for China. Google was a significant power in the Chinese internet searcher advertise until it left the nation in 2010. Google said it left since it couldn't adapt to China's control laws. It shows up, be that as it may, that Google had a difference in heart scarcely any years after the fact. In 2017, The Intercept uncovered Google was wanting to come back to China and was willing to comply with the Chinese government this time. It was building up a web crawler that edited outcomes on vote-based system, human rights, religion, and fights. Google called the internet searcher Dragonfly. Google just dropped the undertaking after arrangement of fights. It shows up, in any case, that we have not heard its remainder. While showing up before the US Senate, Karan Bhatia, Google's VP of Open Strategy, said he was unable to affirm that Google won't assemble another blue-penciled internet searcher for China. Number 8. It controls list items and YouTube recordings for lawmakers and tycoons. Numerous administrations, including those of the alleged free world, frequently direct Google to edit certain substance on Blogger, Search, and YouTube. Governments, and ideological groups and extremely rich people, advise Google to evacuate content for an assortment of reasons. Slander, protection, detest discourse, national security, and copyright encroachment are some very much grounded reasons we know. Winning races and influencing general assessment in political issues is another, that is without a doubt not all around grounded. There are numerous nonsensical reasons an administration will request that Google expel something from the web. Governments can, and do, request that Google expel anything they discover hostile. It doesn't have to overstep any law. The legislature simply needs to abhor it. Argentina made Google evacuate content uncovering an administration official for lewd behavior. Brazil made Google evacuate blog entries and query items that condemned court judges and uncovered misrepresentation. Germany requested that Google erase a Google Maps audit including 2 government authorities working with the youngster defensive help. The authorities had purportedly explicitly mishandled 2 youngsters. Be that as it may, the region organization moved one of the influenced workforce from the district as opposed to sending them to court. There are a lot more, and this is only a glimpse of something larger. Google says it doesn't generally follow these solicitations, yet we don't how obvious this is. Number 7. It finished its week-after-week TGIF gatherings. In 2019, Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, dropped the week-by-week "Thank God It's Friday" TGIF gatherings. Going ahead, the gathering will hold once per month and conversations are confined to Google's matter of fact. The week-by-week TGIF meeting was a Google convention that goes back to 1999. Google was a little organization at that point, and the gatherings were what you will anticipate from an affectionate network. The gatherings got strained as Google became bigger. Conversations frequently spun round work environment issues. Representatives griped about Google's restriction, cozy relationship with the US government, inappropriate behavior, etc. The gatherings stressed the connection among representatives and the executives. Indeed, even Page and Brin quit going to in light of the fact that they just couldn't manage it. The notices of the gatherings likewise spilled to the press, which was humiliating for Google. Number 6. It prevented the Swedish government from adding a word to its language. In 2012, the Language Council of Sweden added another word to the Swedish language. That word was agooglebar, which it portrayed as something you can't discover on the web with the utilization of a web crawler. Google checked out the word and requested that the gathering supplant a web search tool with Google. The committee won't, saying Swedes previously utilized it for anything they couldn't discover utilizing any internet searcher. Google, in any case, demanded it needed the word to allude to whatever isn't on Google. The board can't and expelled the word from its official rundown of Swedish words. A representative said the word stayed a Swedish word, regardless of whether it was not going to be legitimate. Google may prevent the gathering from utilizing the word, however it can't prevent normal Swedes from utilizing it in their everyday discussions. Number 5. It expelled many Donald Trump advertisements for reasons unknown. In 2019, YouTube brought down more than 300 of Trump's reappointment advertisements for reasons unknown. As a matter of fact, it said it brought the advertisements down for penetrating organization approach. YouTube would not give more data about how the promotions penetrated organization arrangement or what organization approach it penetrated. It anyway denied evacuating the advertisements for political reasons. Its CEO, Susan Wojcicki, said the advertisements were unapproved. This is despite the fact that the promotions had been running for a couple of days. Number 4. It rebuffed representatives for challenging lewd behavior. In November 2018, 20,000 representatives and temporary workers left Google's workplaces in 50 urban communities over the world. They were fighting a few issues including specialists' privileges, inappropriate behavior, and Google's poor treatment of temporary workers. The dissent was a triumph. Google rolled out certain improvements to assuage the dissenters and commended Claire Stapleton and 6 others for their job in the dissent. That was simply on a superficial level. Underground, it proclaimed war on Stapleton and other dissent pioneers. Stapleton left Google the next year. She said her vocation took a descending turn after the dissent. Her directors evaded and put her under so much pressure that she simply needed to leave. They took steps to downgrade her and just backtracked after she included her attorneys. Nonetheless, they got increasingly threatening towards her, gave her work to others and exhorted her to go on clinical leave. Number 3. It boycotted harmless moment indexed lists. Until a couple of years prior, Google had a moment search highlight where it gave you continuous query items as you entered your pursued term into the inquiry bar. Clients before long saw the element quit working when they composed certain words. They later found the component stumbled off on the grounds that Google had edited those words. While a considerable lot of the words were obscene, some were harmless with no sexual undercurrent. This incorporates words like Latina, ecstasy, novice, ball kicking, Asian angel, dreams, fetal, young lady on, inbreeding, licked, darlings, develop, accommodating, adolescent, and Google is malevolent. A representative said the pursued monster had an issue with its calculation. The calculation blue-penciled a word if past clients utilized it as a feature of a sexual term. Be that as it may, this influenced searchers looking for non-sexual outcomes. The representative said Google was chipping away at expelling harmless words from its rundown of controlled words. Number 2. It restricted representatives from talking about legislative issues at work. Google has mailing records and gatherings where representatives banter, share data, or simply examine arbitrary subjects of intrigue. Everybody could talk about anything on the gatherings and mailing records until 2019, when officials restricted political conversations. Officials likewise precluded representatives from offering expressions that offended, belittled, or mortified different workers or the organization's colleagues. The significance of colleague is dubious. Be that as it may, in light of Google's ongoing jokes, counting the terminating of 2 preservationist software engineers, your supposition is in the same class as mine. Number 1. It boycotted a whole subdomain. Google edits any site it suspects of spamming its clients. Notwithstanding, it once took things to the extraordinary when it obstructed each site under the .co.cc subdomain. The subdomain had more than 11 million sites, making it perhaps the biggest area on the planet. It had a place with a South Korean organization that permitted clients make free sites and up to 15,000 sites for just $1,000. Google said it hindered the subdomain for facilitating many spam sites. While that sounds sensible, it doesn't change the way that Google had taken things excessively far. That subdomain contained many authentic sites.